Welcome to the No More Late Fees podcast. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Jackie, and we're just two best friends and ex-Blockbuster employees rewatching some of the best and worst movies from the late 90s and early 2000s. This week, we are talking about the 1998 rom-com, The Wedding Singer, with our guest, Jasmine. Hello, Jasmine. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
And if you're wondering who Jasmine is, go check out our trailer episode that we kind of got into her love of rom-coms, and then come back. We'll wait for you.
But before we dive in, let's get into some
housekeeping.
If you love the podcast and want to support us, here are a few ways you can.
Did you know writing a review and or rating us helps us get more listeners? If you want to be featured and help us grow, head to Apple, Spotify, Podchasers, Good Pods, or your favorite podcast platform and leave us a review. We actually just added our podcast to iHeartRadio, so if that's where you listen to your podcast, we are now available.
Yay. I didn't even know that. And if you ever thought to yourself, how could I support these girls because they kind of make me laugh sometimes? Head on over to ko-fi.com/no-more-late-fees and you can buy us a virtual cup of coffee, which is really just like a tip or whatever.
Yeah, because I need more motivation to make you laugh harder because apparently a little is not a lot. So, and if you would like to wear your No More Late Fees support on your chest, literally, buy a t-shirt. Head to our Redbubble store at nomorelatefees.redbubble.com.
Hi, No More Late Fees listeners. It's Mark J. Parker from the Release Date Rewind podcast. Hi, Jackie and Danielle. Thanks so much for inviting me to have a little moment on your show. Love your show. Love the Instagram page. You guys are great. And Release Date Rewind is definitely part of the kind of extended No More Late Fees family because we are movie nerds. We are movie lovers. Release Date Rewind is a podcast that celebrates movie anniversaries. So if it's either a big blockbuster or a cult classic that is celebrating a milestone anniversary, chances are I am talking about it on my show, or at least it's on my short list of options. So each month I like to bring on some friends and we nerd out. We talk about the trivia. We talk about all the little details, the scenes and the characters that we love. And it's a really fun time. Check us out on all the major podcast platforms. And I'm also on Instagram at Release Date Rewind. Thanks, guys.
Let's get into this movie, Jackie. Ready?
As I'll ever be.
Oh, it wasn't that bad.
You laughed a lot.
I did. I don't know. I really don't know why, but I did. I was in a laughing mood.
Did you guys watch it together?
Yeah.
We did. And typically I love Adam Sandler movies, but not a favorite. Anywho. So set in 1985, Adam Sandler plays a nice guy with a broken heart who's stuck in one of the most romantic jobs in the world, a wedding singer. He loses all hope when he is abandoned at the altar by his fiancé. He meets a young woman named Julia, played by Drew Barrymore, who enlists his help in planning her own wedding. He falls in love with her and must win her over before she gets married. It stars Adam Sandler, Drew Barrymore, and Christine Taylor. It was directed by Frank Karashi, written by Tim Hurley.
Your guess is as good as mine.
And you can currently watch it on HBO Max and Hulu. But before we start, let's get into our ratings rewind.
All right, so you know the drill. Before we get into the movie, we'll reveal the rating our Y2K versions of ourselves would give. Then at the end, we'll see if our current selves agree with our initial rating. So our scale consists of would buy it again.
The best, would play on repeat.
5-day rental.
Would watch again.
2-day rental.
Okay, but nothing to write home about.
And same-day rental.
Trash, just like Glenn. It's straight up trash.
All right, Jasmine, we're going to start with you. What did your Y2K rating or the rating of when you first saw the movie?
Okay, so I know my dad owned this movie. It wasn't my decision to buy it, so can I exclude that?
Yeah, of course.
Probably would have been 5-day rental. Would watch again.
Um, Jackie?
I'm scared.
So we all know I love Adam Sandler.
Right.
For some reason, this movie does not resonate with me. I think one, it's set in the 80s.
Yep.
And all the music's from the 80s. Like it just does not hit my soul in the same way his other movies do. So it's a 2-day rental for me.
Horse. Okay, so I remember liking, I went to the movies to go see it. I liked the movie. So, but I'm wondering if I was hypnotized also, because I very much listened to the soundtrack like my entirety of high school. It was on rotation. I loved the soundtrack to this movie, but it's also because like I had this obsession with the 80s. So I was watching when we were rewatching it, I was like, do I love this movie, or do they place so many of my favorite 80s songs in between scenes that is what is bringing me joy and like all this dopamine while I'm watching it? And I would have to say that's probably what it is. Also, I just think Adam Sandler is just really sweet in this movie without playing into like the dumb comedy like all the other ones prior to this movie. So it does feel like really nice in comparison than like he's actually trying, I feel like, in this movie.
I do agree with that. Like we do get a softer side of Adam Sandler in this movie.
Yeah.
So
have you guys watched Punch Drunk Love with Adam
I do
Sandler?
love him in that one. I know it's not everyone's like flavor. I do like Spanglish. I do like when he tries. I do when it's not just like slapstick humor that, you know, he's a grown man. Let's let this go. So I'm giving it a 5-day rental. Oh, so there we go. Let's get into the box office. So this movie had a budget of $18 million, and it made $123.3 million. It's very interesting because if you notice in that there's like a time frame that he almost had a movie. He pretty much had a movie every single year, with the exception of 1997. And that is because this movie was slated for 1997 originally, but they decided to move it back because they thought it would be a really good movie for Valentine's Day. So if you notice, this movie came out in 1998 in February, and then why can't I say things? If you notice, this movie came out in 98 in February, and then you could see that Waterboy came out the same year, and that is why. It opened in second behind Titanic. Now, if you remember, Titanic came out in December-ish time in 97, and it was just in the theaters for a very long time. Like, think about it. It's months after it was released, and it still was beating $18.8 million. Like, why were so many freaking people going to see this damn movie over and over again? I will never understand.
25 years later, it's back.
It's killing me. This is the first Adam Sandler movie to gross over $100 million. And it is the highest rated Sandler comedy on Rotten Tomatoes, which very
Well,
interesting.
I agree to disagree.
I mean, the people, it's the people, Jackie. It's not critics. It's literally the people have spoken.
I know.
Also, this is one of his first movies where the female lead actually has her own perspective. And this was a huge deal because if you look back, and some of our critiques of his movies are the fact that women are like kind of like objects. So they did really try to make sure that didn't happen. So I think that's one of the reasons why it probably did well. But I'll tell you what Lil Raj said, Jackie.
Tell me.
Well, Leonard Clady from The Variety said, from Variety. He said director Frank Karachi and scripter Tim Hurley work in concert to maintain a quality of farce rooted in human comedy. I don't know. But Roger Ebert gave the film a negative review and wrote, the screenplay reads like a collaboration between Jekyll and Hyde. Harsh, little Raj.
Wow.
Jackie's fine with that.
That's interesting. Like, I don't get that. I just don't. It doesn't resonate with me.
And really this movie came about because Adam Sandler had an idea for a comedy about a wedding singer who gets left at the altar. But also I think they pulled from the director's experience. I guess he had some really bad heartbreak previously, and that's a combination of that. And I think something they heard on the radio kind of just put all this together, but we'll get into that. And that is how The Wedding Singer was received by the public. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay, well, let's hop on into it. We see the opening credits are Robbie, played by Adam Sandler, doing what he does best, performing at weddings.
So do you guys feel like Adam Sandler is singing? Is that him singing? Or it just sounds like he sounds really good, and I didn't know him to have.
I mean, he sings, right? Like he has
Yeah.
his Hanukkah song, and he was a singer in my book. Like I think his like family always made him sing at like weddings and bar mitzvahs. So could be real.
Yeah. Okay. I was surprised.
I had all of his albums.
Yeah, but
I could sing the song.
but those felt like jokey jokes. Like I felt, it's him.
But they were still melodic. No, like his albums had a lot of like comedy bits in them, but then
Right.
there were also songs that he sang.
I know, but for me, his songs are talk songs, like talk singing, like he's talking, but in a melody. It's not like, I would never think to say like Adam Sandler is a singer. Do you get what I'm saying?
To go, I think you just haven't heard enough. Like his Red Hooded Sweatshirt song, he sings that whole song. There's no talking.
Right. I know he's not talking, but it's not a singer's voice. It's literally like he's added a little bit of melody to it, and he's not a singer. I'm surprised that he sounded like he could carry a note, because when he sings his joke songs, they're joke songs, I don't know. It's just, if you guys get it, then tell me. Go ahead, Jasmine. Sorry.
I was like, it sounds like you need to bring him on and just settle it, make him sing on the spot.
Yes, I'm gonna say you need to prove yourself. This is my American Idol, bitch.
We have to reach out to our 1 degree.
Yes.
We went to, I went to middle school with Adam Sandler's brother-in-law.
Oh, fun
So
fact.
Why do you say middle school? We both went to high school with him. He just didn't finish with us, apparently.
That's true. Sorry. I was like actually friends with him in middle school. That's why I equate that to that.
Gotcha. Well,
We
we're
hung
all
out
friends
all day at Disney.
We're all friends with him on Facebook.
It's true. Anyway, that's our flex.
That's also we have an awesome friend who goes to, I think growing up, they went to Adam Sandler's, was it maybe sister or dad or somebody's their dentist. I think it's a sister. So anywho, shout out to Kai Bobby. that's our other connect to Adam Sandler.
Hey, Kai Bobby.
Wow.
Okay,
I got nothing.
No connection. Jasmine,
No
you gotta up your game,
So it's just like a montage. Everyone's having a great time. There's a naked baby butt for no reason.
Weird.
And then this movie does have a lot of problematic elements to it. One being the overweight people constantly having to be stuffing their face. Like in this scene, there's a heavier lady, and she's literally like reaching into the cake and pulling out handfuls and just shoving them into her face.
Like, come
Why?
on. No one does that. Who's gonna
No.
do that?
Maybe
Have
a
you-
child, but
Yeah.
not a grown person.
Jasmine, when was the last time you went to a wedding and you saw someone with their hands grabbing the cake? Like, come on.
Can't say I have. As the answer should be.
And then we see Steve Buscemi's character just plays a little bit part. He is the best man. I always want to say like groomsman of honor, but I know that's so he plays the best man. He you can tell he's kind of the black sheep. He makes this speech and starts talking about prostitutes in Puerto Rico, and so he's cut off. But then Robbie grabs the mic, makes a really great speech about love, because he himself is so in love with his fiance Linda. Is that her name?
Yes, it is Linda.
Okay.
Linda is a bitch.
Yes. And then we see Holly's cousin. We don't know who Holly is yet, but Holly's cousin just started waitressing at this venue, and that is Julia, played by Drew Barrymore. And like she has some gratuitous, like someone grabs her butt and they're catcalling her while she's just trying to serve these people at the wedding.
Right.
And then when she goes into the kitchen, we meet her cousin Holly, who they had been talking about, played by Christine Taylor. And the cook is like super nice to Holly, but like giving Julia a hard time. And Holly's like, "Oh, I showed him my boobs at the Christmas party. It's been great to come to work ever since." And Julia's just like, "No, I'm not doing that." Like, so there are a lot of aspects of this movie. For as much as Julia is a well-developed character, there are very much misogynistic, gratuitous like acts upon women and comments made to women.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's very important to note that obviously we said that what did we say wrote this movie? We couldn't say what his name. I couldn't remember what his name is. Hold on. Sorry. It's important to say that obviously Tim Hurley wrote the movie script, but there was some doctoring of it, and Adam Sandler and Judd Apatow. And I don't know if I am ever saying that man's name right. I actually don't care because I don't like him. But unless he wants to be on the show, then I love him. They both did uncredited rewrites, and then who else did rewrites?
Carrie Fisher, our girl, Carrie Fisher, ghostwriter extraordinaire.
Like I was saying earlier, they wanted more from the female perspective. It's actually some of the complaints that Adam Sandler has gotten on his previous films. So they asked Carrie Fisher to come in and make sure that Julia was like a fleshed out character. Look what happens when you use your resources.
That's what happened when you use women.
Right. Now, all we got to do now, Adam, is get some people of color. That will be good.
Other than Chris Rock.
I was about to say not Chris Rock.
So sorry. So Julia is, I'm assuming on her break. She's sitting outside behind the kitchen, just sitting on the steps, and Robbie comes out with this kid who has gotten drunk, and so he's letting him puke away from his relatives so his relatives don't see. And he strikes up a conversation with Julia, and they just have easygoing banter between the two of them. And he notices that she has an engagement ring, so he kind of asks about it. And she says that, like, She's been engaged for 2 years and her fiance is reluctant to set a date. So she doesn't at this point know if she's ever going to get married. We then find out that Robbie is set to get married the next day, in the next week or something. So we get a little bit of backstory about the two of them. And then while Robbie is on his break, he has his friend George perform. George only has one song in his repertoire, and that's Do You Want to Hurt Me by Boy George. George is played by Alexis Arquette. And I do want to say, like, it was very refreshing in this movie to get representation in 1998. I very much appreciated that character, even though now, like, it is very much a characterization of a, and I don't want to misgender them. So
yeah, at the time she hadn't come out as trans, but even her in the wedding dress scene, she, they were all like sweet, like it wasn't a joke. I was half expecting them to like make fun of her, but they didn't. Very nurturing and caring in comparison to some of the other things we've seen in Adam Sandler movies. So it was very nice. And Boy George actually was very happy about being able to have, this homage to him. So that was cute.
I love that. So sorry, I'm catching up on the notes. So then we see Robbie the next day. He's giving lessons to Rosie, who is this elderly lady. She can't afford to pay him, so she pays him in meatballs, and she's taking singing lessons from him for her 50th wedding anniversary that is upcoming, so she can serenade her husband.
I really want to know if those meatballs were any good.
I really want Rosie's meatball recipe.
She should make a cookbook. First of all, that actress, she lived to be like 101 or something like that.
Wow.
And
good for her.
She wasn't she in The Sweetest Thing?
Is it a different lady?
I
think it's a different. So I get her and this other lady mixed up. Not Betty White, because some people will call out Betty White, and I'm like, that's not Betty White.
No,
they don't even look the same. Although
I'm looking it up. Right now.
But the funny thing is, Betty White was considered for that role. But she
really,
but she wasn't.
I love that, and like her little tiny voice, and she's so petite and just full of life and energy.
Yeah, she reminded me so much of my grandma, so I feel like I just had like a stronger affinity.
Yeah. She was adorable. But in that scene, like with the meatballs, she said she ran out of Tupperware, and so she's like, wait, don't go. So when she comes out with the pot, I thought she was gonna give him the pot. I thought that was weird. Too. But
hold out your hands.
Right. She puts it in his hands, and then she tells him to take a bite and squeezes it. I know it's a dick joke somewhere in there with the balls, but it was still like, I'm confused, but I don't know. It was funny, kind of, but weird.
I feel like someone needs to do that prank though on their friends, like after dinner, like, oh, take with the leftovers.
Yes, that's what I should do the next time I have a party at my house. Be like, I'm out of Tupperware. Open your hands. And
please do that to your sister. Please do that to Serena. And see what she does.
I think my sister would literally try to fight me if I try to do that to her.
Is she older or younger?
She's younger.
Or do it to Anthony, but make sure Serena's in the room, because Anthony is too polite to say anything.
You have to cut this part out. Anthony actually listens to the podcast. My sister doesn't. Anthony is
Oh,
my
please
sister's
do.
boyfriend. My sister, younger and smaller than me, but she's quite frightening when she's mad.
She is. She is.
I just know from personal experience, like if my older sister did something like that, like it wouldn't just be a breeze thing.
So then the next scene we see is Julia in the car with her mom, who I wrote down Ross and Rachel's mom, Judy
Yes.
Geller, played by Christina Pickles. And she's just like, when are you going to get married? Like, do you need to fake a pregnancy? So he locks down a date. Like, we can make this happen. And
I love how ride or die she is.
yeah, and Julia's just like, I'm not doing that, Mom. Like, no.
But when you said her real name while we were watching the movie, I immediately thought you said Angelica Pickles, and I'm like, what?
It's honestly a killer name.
It is.
It is. I hit something and I made everything. Okay, there we go. Sorry. So now we see Robbie's wedding. He is waiting at the altar. Everyone's so excited. And then who's the lady that walks up? I missed that. Is that his mom?
Sister.
Sister.
So we find out Robbie's parents passed away. I think it's a car accident. So it's just him and his sister, and he lives in his sister's basement with her husband and their 2 kids. The hair on the husband.
Oh.
It was so distracting because I kept thinking to myself, is it real or is it a rug? Is it real? Is it a rug?
No, it looked like it wasn't. What was that spray on hair that they used to have?
It was
that
too
made it real dark.
Well, I think it made it real dark, but it was too texturized to be spray on. Like,
right, yeah.
I don't know what that was.
Or maybe he was just doing Just for Men, and that's why it was like way too dark.
No, the darkness it was just like, what's happening? It just grew weird. Also,
no, but I think that's why, is because it was so dark. It wasn't like a natural color, and because like I felt like he sprayed it on, so he had like weird hairlines because he was spraying it on every morning. Like that's where I went with that. That's how I had to justify that hair.
And he's like, just for men.
I don't think I'll be able to sleep tonight without knowing.
Yeah,
Right.
like what is that hair? So we need to make a list of questions for when we have Adam Sandler on, and be like, what is that hair? Like, first question, and he's like waiting for all the general questions he always gets, and we're like, in The Wedding Singer, what was your brother-in-law's hair? How did you apply that?
Right.
Like, we need details.
What's the stitch? The people want to know.
The people want to know.
I hope you put, like, when you edit this, you make sure you put a picture of this man and his hair so everyone understands what we're talking about.
It's not stellar. And I thought Steve Buscemi's hair was bad in this movie.
His hair was luscious and
and the other guy,
the best friend.
It wasn't the best friend. It was the other guy that 10 Second Tom that shows up, and he has like surfer, like scraggly bleach blonde hair that's long.
There's a lot of
interesting
hair in this movie. The Flock of Seagulls guy at the airport.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that guy.
But Julia's little bob, adorable. I love that cut on Drew Barrymore.
And we have to talk about that.
I love her.
Yeah, this is her, like, it's crazy because she's so young at this point, but this is the beginning of her renaissance, if you remember. Like, in the early 90s, obviously she was doing movies, but like she shifted into a rom-com leading lady, starting with this movie, and then it was just like hit after hit. She was giving us some bangers. I don't think it started here. It actually started most likely with Never Been Kissed, which I think it came out in 97, either that or Ever After. So I think it was Never Been Kissed, Ever After, and then this movie, and it just was like she was on fire. And she started our production company, Flower Films, and produced most of these movies, and then she did Charlie's Angels. So like she was on, as the Bostonians would say, a wicked high at this point.
Speaking of Boston, Fever Pitch is one of my favorite Drew Barrymore movies.
Jasmine, meet Jackie, your new best friends.
We for our birthday episodes, we always get to choose what movie we want to do. And like I was like, we're doing Fever Pitch. It was the first episode we cried on because my dad was a huge Red Sox fan.
Same.
And so it's like that is one of my movies that I watch all the time, and I cry every time they win and everyone runs onto the field. Oh, it's just perfect.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
I was just gonna say my favorite thing is my dad had the warm-up jacket, so now I have it, and I'm like, I am Drew Barrymore.
Yes.
If you haven't listened to our Fever Pitch episode, highly recommend after this episode. It's a fun one, but we also cry. Spoiler alert.
We do. But also Drew Barrymore and the Red Sox.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Fallon.
Shout out to Shayla. Sorry, I know you're listening to this episode and you don't like Drew Barrymore. You can push through it. Thank you.
So Robbie's sister comes out. Linda has left a note. She's not coming, is the gist.
How fucked up is this? Like,
well,
how?
Linda is a garbage human anyway.
Yes, and I didn't realize till after I rewatched this who else she played in Friends. Like we had more Friends people, and she was the girl that Ross kissed when they were on a break, wasn't she?
That's Christine.
No, Christine Taylor was Bonnie.
The one who cut off her all her hair. Yeah, you're right.
She was Chloe the copy girl. Is that who that was?
Yes.
Hold on.
Yes, so there's a lot of people from Friends in this movie. And the other movie we had like this was Ocean's 11. Because like half the cast made cameos. Julie Roberts, George Clooney, Brad Pitt, and then Ross and Monica's dad.
Yes.
Elliot Gould.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then the other guy, the other wedding singer in this movie who like tries to steal Robbie's business, he's also in Friends.
Oh, John Lovitz.
He plays two separate characters too.
Yeah. I don't remember the second one. I just remember the chef when he tried to start his own restaurant and he came over to Monica's High. I don't remember the second character he played.
Well, there was that one, and then he went on a blind date with Rachel.
Oh,
wow. Well,
and he cried the whole time.
Oh, yes.
It says that at least 6 of the actors in this movie have appeared in Friends. Christine Taylor, Angela Featherstone, Alexis Arquette, Christina Pickles, John Lovitz, and Brian Posen. So,
hold on.
All of them.
My brain is breaking right now. You're telling me Caitlin from 200 Cigarettes is Chloe the copy girl?
Yes.
How did I never make that connection?
Short, dark hair is Chloe the copy girl. Very different.
Yes.
Angela Featherstone was also in another 90s movie taking place in the 80s.
Yeah.
Which is 200 Cigarettes. So love that journey for her.
My brain is just not processing, and I just watched that episode last night, so it's even like it's fresh in my mind.
Maybe that's how good of an actress she was that we just don't, because like I didn't realize when I watched this movie that she like it wasn't until we did the podcast that I realized watching this movie again that that's the same girl from 200 Cigarettes. Because she doesn't look the same to me. Every movie I've see her in, she doesn't look the same.
Wow.
She doesn't. I am baffled. So we're back at Robbie's sister's house. at this point, he thinks they're getting back together. He just needs to talk to her. He takes the little bride off of the cake and goes outside and like sits outside and is wallowing. She shows up. He tells her she's late. And then she says, I'm in love with Robbie from 6 years ago. Essentially, she wants to be a groupie. She wants to be the wife of a performer, and he is settled into this wedding singer business. It seems like he's good at it. I'm sure he gets paid decently enough. Question mark. And so essentially she's just like, I don't want to marry you. And so kind of crushes that one last hope that he just needs to talk to her and they'll get back together.
I'm super like when I think about it, just side note, tangent, sorry. If I ever got married, I would not want a band. I get so confused when people want bands. I'm like, I want to hear the original tracks with the DJ, not including the bullshit I went through my birthday, but like a DJ who's going to play the originals. I don't know. I always get annoyed when it's the cover. I think of it as a cover band when I see wedding bands.
Yeah. Then their options are so limited.
Right. Like I don't think I can get the same vibes from a wedding singer singing, bringing it in for the 99 and 2000s, and I'm not gonna really pop it like I should as when Juvenile is singing it,
Yeah.
Just thoughts from inside my
You can't
brain.
get all the single ladies to the floor like Beyonce can.
Right. I definitely don't want a wedding singer singing No Bay. Okay. Just don't insult me. If I can't get Beyonce in person, put on her tracks and stream the music.
Plus, it's probably way cheaper.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What about you, Jasmine? Do you have a preference?
So actually, I don't want a big wedding at all. So, but if I did do one, I'd probably do a DJ and maybe only a live band. Like if I were to like walk down the aisle and they played like something acoustic, I think that would be nice. But
yeah,
definitely team DJ.
I think an acoustic version of Back That Ass Up down the aisle is perfect. Because like the people who know are like, oh, and then your grandparents, they don't know, right?
So this is getting off topic, but when I was a teacher, they have lullabies. So it's just the instrumental version of all different songs. So I made this huge playlist on Amazon of all the different lullabies. So like we'd be like sitting and grooving and it's like elevator music sounding, but it'd be like, this one's Gangster's Paradise, or like this one's Santeria. Like, and so you could sing it in your head, but the kids didn't hear the words. And it was perfect. Highly recommend if you're a teacher, reach out to us. I still have the playlist. I'm happy to share it with
you. Telling my best friend immediately after this.
So then we transition to Julia. Yes. And she's singing 99 Left Balloons. And Glenn comes in. This is when we first see her fiance, Glenn. He's like, I finally set a date. I got tickets to Vegas. Let's go. I don't want a big wedding. And so she's like trying to be happy. I think at this point, the fact that he set a date, she's like, okay, whatever. Like,
right.
Let's do it. But then he said, are you going to do that girl thing and act happy, but pout on the inside? I'm like, well, you're disappointing her. So is that her fault? Or is that your fault, Glenn?
Like, if you know,
ask.
Right. If you know, it's probably the one thing she really wants. She's been waiting and she wants to have a wedding. Why not give it to her? And
he has the money for it. It's not like, hey, like this is going to be really expensive. This is going to like put us in debt, blah blah blah. Like, no, he's a stock trader. Like, he has the money to pay for a decent sized wedding. It didn't sound like she wanted anything extravagant or
Mm-mm.
crazy. You good,
Yeah.
Danielle?
Oh, that was Ken. He was closing the door. You heard that
Oh.
bang?
I didn't. It
Oh,
may not be the door. It might have been a tree branch.
no,
So
I
sorry.
thought I saw the
Okay.
lights go on. Why, did I look
Okay.
like I was dazed?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm listening. I didn't take an edible, I promise.
The other night she looked like a statue. I thought her screen kept freezing, but apparently she was just in her
Just
own
like
head.
zone.
Yeah.
My
And
bad.
so we're in the middle of a really bad ice storm here. And so we have tree branches falling, and I'm on 2 acres. So like we got a lot of trees.
A
And
lot.
so yeah, if we all of a sudden like jump or get distracted, it's probably a tree branch falling on the house.
Oh my gosh.
But we'll try our best to not be
Sorry.
distracted. So he does backtrack. He says, okay, let's get married here. And so it seems like she has 3 months to plan the wedding. Their wedding's going to be on August 5th. And then the next scene is we meet Robbie's best friend, who's I think he's been like flitting in and out of scenes, but this is where it's
Like
kind of
introduced, yeah.
established that it's his best friend, and he is the only limo driver in town, apparently.
This is where we see the hair again.
Yes.
The brother-in-law is outside watering these flowers, and I kept thinking, this man is wasting water.
That's it. If he just like switched the hose to see if it's real, you know?
Yeah.
Right. You're so right. We should have had them spray, like, well, we weren't there, so yeah, Robbie is not leaving his room. He is on his black and white checkered pillows, so 80s, down in the basement, and his best friend's like, yo, we got to get you out of here. And he's like, it's too soon a day. He's like, I just need to get you laid. Like, you don't have to marry anybody, you just need to get laid. Robbie's just always, it's said that he wanted to be married like since like the 3rd grade, but apparently that's when their parents died, so maybe that's why he wants to get married. That's what his sister says, at least. So
Yeah.
That could be why.
Yeah, I mean, trauma does make you want to put yourself in traumatic situations like marriage. So
And so his friend does say you need to go back to work. And so then we get the saddest version of Holiday I have ever heard.
I quite liked it.
He's just like, holiday, celebrate. Like, he's just so sad. But then he starts getting angry.
Love it.
Because he sees the happy couple. The dad is not happy that like he paid for this wedding singer and he's bringing down the mood. He threatens to strangle the dad with his microphone wire at one point, and then proceeds to sing Love Stinks.
And he like calls out people in the wedding party. Like, what would you do if you're sitting at a wedding party and the wedding singer's like, we're all not gonna find love like you, Jasmine, at table 6. Like, what are you doing?
There'd probably be some strong words fired back. Speak for yourself, sir.
And so then he gets punched by the father. At one point, like they're showing this fight scene, someone is biting the father's leg, but it seems like it's another guest. I don't know what's happening. I had to rewind it. I was like, is someone biting someone? And they were confirmed.
Yeah, cops get called.
Oh yeah, Julia's like, Robbie's sitting at, or no, Robbie is in the dumpster. In the dumpster. Julia finds him. He's like, are they all gone? She's like, there's only a few cops and witnesses left. Like, the cops were called to break up the fight. She tells just to like kind of change the subject, trying to get Robbie's mind off of him wallowing. She's like, hey, Glenn and I have set a date. You have to play at our wedding. And then she invites him to the engagement party that's in 2 weeks. Question: they have been engaged for 2 years. Have they not had the engagement party already?
They haven't
Glenn
been
probably
engaged.
didn't want one.
They weren't engaged. They were just together.
No, they were engaged.
But she had a ring.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. I don't know, man.
No, Glenn probably just said no.
So like, I don't know why they called it an engagement party. It was just a slip up on the writing's end. They should have just called it a bridal shower or something, you know, because you're right.
Or we're going out. Like, it didn't have to be like
We set a
named
wedding
something.
date.
It's a
Yeah.
we set a date party.
Yeah.
There we go. He finally agreed to a date. And so then we see a conversation between Julia and Glenn, and she's like, hey, like, we need to do like wedding cake, blah blah blah, all the things. And he's like, you're better at that, just do it. And she's like, well, I was really hoping that we would plan our wedding together. And he's like, nah, I'm good.
Glenn is showing all of the signs. All of the signs. And I just feel like this story resonates so much because you see so many women who fall into these kind of situations. Like, you look at the guy and you're like, why? Right.
Yes.
Like, why do you keep putting up with this craziness? This man clearly is an a-hole and does not treat you right. Like, what the fuck?
Is it him or someone else? I think he says, I'll be so wasted that day, I won't even notice.
It's his friend when they have
it?
the engagement party. Yeah, he says that. But also Julia doesn't stand up for herself.
No.
She doesn't call out his behavior. She's just quiet all the time. Quiet. Glenn be saying crazy off the cuff stuff and she's just quiet.
Yeah, I feel like everyone like around her kind of like makes it feel like she's so lucky to be with Glenn too.
Right.
Yeah.
Like her mom, even like Holly at one point was like, oh, like you're getting married to him because of the money. Like you will be secure, you know?
Yeah. It reminds me of that scene that's viral on TikTok from Waiting to Exhale where the mom is like, he's a good man, Savannah. He's a good man. But he's not. He's not a good man. So Robbie, I think this is where does Robbie babysit his nephews? His sister goes out. She asks him if he's going to the engagement party and he's watching the kids. And they call
that might
him.
be this.
They say that he is having a mental breakdown. Don't you love kids? Like, if you ever really want to know how your friends or your family are really talking about you when you're not around, just get some kids to the side. They will repeat everything.
My 3-year-old nephew, for sure.
And if my mom, Miss Terry can't keep a secret to save her life. And then Robbie transitions to doing bar mitzvahs because he doesn't want to be in the wedding scene. So we see him singing at a bar mitzvah. There's a kid that's kind of sitting off to the side. He said that he asked a girl to dance and she rejected him. And so then I don't think we see the scene with him talking to Julia about it, but he asks Julia to choose someone to dance with. So she goes up to that kid and asks him to dance. And at first it's fine. Like, she's just being kind to this kid that's kind of awkward and stuff. And then he grabs her ass, which is like, okay, he's 13, whatever. But then she grabs his ass. And that's where we get into questionable territory.
I think all of it's questionable. Like, just, even like as the adult not saying, don't do that. Like it's not hard. And I don't understand who is laughing at this. Gross. And then when she does it to him, I'm like, I think I said inappropriate. But then here comes what's Adam Sandler's character?
Robbie.
Right, sorry. Here comes Robbie. He goes and picks out a random girl. It's not like she was like, yes, I would like to dance with this girl as an adult. And then he places her hands on his butt. And I'm just like,
absolutely not.
What is happening? And I'm like, I'm glad they stopped there, because if he had tried to put his hands on that little girl's butt, I just like, you had enough sense to know not to do that part, right? But why is it okay to do it to the little boy? It was just like so unnecessary. And I know like some people are like, oh, it's just a joke, but these are the kind of things that you place in movies that normalize this kind of behavior for children and adults, that they think when it happens to them in a bad way, potentially, that it's not like a warning sign that this is not okay. Oh, the 90s.
So after this scene, we see Julia and Robbie talking, and she's thanking him for recommending a florist. She got a really good deal and super pleased. And then she's like, "Can you please help me plan the wedding? You know all the vendors. Like, please, please, please." So he reluctantly agrees.
Don't you think that's weird to like be planning your wedding with another man, essentially? Yes, he knows the deals, but like she could have also asked him to give her a list of who she should talk to.
Yeah, like why wasn't Holly helping?
Right.
More?
Guys, then it wouldn't be a movie.
All right, sorry. You're right, Jasmine. You're right.
we're trying to put rationale to a rom-com, and it just doesn't work that way. So he's making deals like with the wedding cake. The lady's like, "Oh, this is the lowest price." He's like, "I know for a fact you gave so and so a lower price," and she was like, "Well, all right." And then we see them auditioning because he's still on the no wedding
singer
no
vibes,
wedding singer. Yeah. So we see John Lovitz auditioning as Jimmy Moore. And then he's kind of an asshole about it. He's like, "Oh, thank you for quitting the wedding circuit. My gigs are up threefold, blah, blah, blah. Or should I thank Linda?" And but this is where Julia stands up for Robbie, at least, and she's like, "Well, thank you. I'm definitely going with a DJ now, and you can like GTFO." And then we see her talking to Robbie a little bit and was like, what inspired you to become a wedding singer? And so he says, "I always wanted to be a songwriter, but then like this was the thing that paid the bills, was being a wedding singer."
And then we get the best song in cinematic history.
It really is. Well, I mean, it's a close tie for the song at the end of the movie.
No, this one is it for me. I love the rage. I love rage. You know what it is? Like, maybe it's because I'm a Cancer. The wave of emotions that you go through in this song, it fits me. Sometimes I need a romantic song, but also I need to say F you in the middle of it as well. It's perfection.
Julia thought so too. She liked it.
Yeah.
And I think it's because I listened to the soundtrack so much that these songs are ingrained in my head. So I even know the order in which the songs are coming on the soundtrack. So it's like this song hits and then I'm like, all right, I know it's this one.
Do you ever shuffle?
Sometimes if I'm feeling spicy.
Did you have both soundtracks?
I didn't. I only had the first one, the first CD. So it's just like Peter Quill in the end of Guardians, where he finds out there's another, like, the music lives on, baby. I gotta go on to Spotify and start living. There's a whole second CD I don't know about.
So at the end of the scene, Robbie is crying, and then we get this really creepy, like, John Lovitz like peeking around the curtain, and he's like, he's losing his mind and I'm reaping all the benefits, and then he just like slowly backs out of frame. His For how little he was in the movie, like, it's so memorable, his
The
little
delivery.
scene. Yeah,
yeah.
it's fantastic.
It's funny that him and the guy behind you, what's his name? Steve Buscemi, were not credited in this movie. And I'm just like, why?
I think they just like working for Adam and their friends, so they just
I mean,
hop on.
Adam has like his own, like, there's the Marvel universe, but then like Adam has his own sphere too. Then he just like collects people and just like
I'm
spreads them
glad
across all his films.
I'm glad you said that, because there's an Adam Sandler universe. And so he made a tribute to his longtime college friend. And this is the movie that he first referenced said friend with the name Eric Lamonsoff, I guess. And you could see that continuing on into other movies like Click, You Don't Mess with the Zohan, and Jack and Jill. And I think, like, Josh Gad's character is actually named that, and somebody else's Kevin James in Grown Ups, maybe, I think is named the same thing. So it's intertwined universe.
Love the Easter eggs in the universe.
Yes.
So because Robbie is sad, Julia takes him out for ice cream. And then Robbie's talking about how Linda, I keep feeling like
that's her name,
Linda,
isn't it?
yeah, it is. I think, like, for some reason Deborah is also stuck in my head and I can't.
I wonder where you get that from.
I don't know.
But this is not the first, when I think about it, it's not the first movie where he gets kind of fucked over at his wedding, because it happens in Just Go With It as well. Well.
With Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, when he like was gonna get married, and then the girl was talking all sorts of crap about him, and then they didn't get married, and he's like, I hate love. It's like, same premise. Just saying.
So he talks about how Linda wasn't the right, he guesses she just wasn't the right one. And then Julia says you'll know it's the right one when you can envision yourself growing old with that person. And then Glenn is going to be such a handsome older man. She doesn't say, like, I want to build a future and travel with him when we're old, or like have grandkids. All she talks about are, I guess he'll be good looking as an old dude.
I mean, I knew that you were the one, Jackie, because I could see us be old together. Huh? What'd you say?
I hope you're still doing the podcast too.
Yes. And we just keep turning the volume up more and more and more.
I just envision we have a producer named Gladys, because I just want to yell, Gladys! Turn the volume up.
Well, whoever our producer is, we'll just call them Gladys.
Yes, thank you.
So then we see a montage of all of the wedding planning, the cake tasting, dress shopping, interspersed with the Rosie lessons, which Julia is now accompanying Robbie on. And then we get the scene with the timing, the limo driving. And she's like, I don't know why we're doing this. You know, I'm going to hire him. Not only is he your best friend, he's the only limo in town. And Robbie's like, I just like to mess with him.
I do feel like if my cake tasting isn't like the scenes in this movie, I don't want it.
We just form a train and everyone feeds everyone else down the line.
It's so sweet till it's not, you know?
That last person.
Who was that?
No
Who
one
was
knows.
that?
No clue.
Did she
Okay.
work there? Did she just wander in? Who knows?
But for the limo thing, like,
Yeah.
is Robbie compensating him for like the tires that kept falling off?
Oh yeah,
whatnot
his
during this
rims.
whole- Yeah, the rims.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think Robbie's just like, this is going to be the best. Watch this.
I do love that his friend is so concerned about getting the job because I don't even think they told him if he had it after
Later.
right.
Yeah.
He takes Robbie home and he's like, okay, so for real though, did I get the job? And he's like, I laughed really hard during the scene. I don't know why, but he's like, you hit cones, 2 cones. And I this scene is where Julia left her her jacket. Now this denim jacket is actually from Drew Barrymore's own personal like collection. It's from her own personal closet and it has daisies on it, which are her signature butterflies, sorry. Oh yeah, she carries daisies later.
Yeah. So the next day, Robbie goes to return the jacket. And this is where you can start to see, we've had like little snippets that Robbie is interested in Julia, but then it's like his friend's like, oh, there's a jacket left in the car, and Robbie was like, oh, that's Julia. She took it off on this street because she said it's no longer jacket weather. Like he knows exactly when she's taken it off, everything she says. So the next day he goes to return the jacket to her, and she and Holly are having a discussion about an appropriate kiss for the ceremony. And Holly is like, he's your husband, make out with him. And Julia's like, no, tongue is not appropriate in church. Well, maybe just a little church tongue. And so then Holly, master of bright ideas, is like, well, I need to see what church tongue looks like. Kiss Robbie.
I felt like in this scene, it didn't make sense because, and the only 2 ways that this would have made sense is 1, if she knew that Robbie liked Julia, but
and was trying to get Julia away from Glenn.
Right. That's one way that it would have made sense. But also the way that they have characterized Holly as being kind of a easy going lady, if we know what I'm talking about, then it would have made more sense if she tried to make out with Robbie to say, like, is this what you mean? So it was just super weird that that's how that came about. Or if she was kissing Robbie and Julia was like, no, and kissed Robbie herself and said, no, this is what I meant.
Yeah.
But
I think that last one would have been gold.
Yeah. They just really should hire us, you know. Just saying.
Well, just hire a woman to write a script with you so that you get a woman's perspective. Carrie Fisher can only do so much.
You're right. She did the Lord's work 100%.
So then Glenn walks in. Robbie turns to him and is like, I kissed her, but it didn't mean anything, and then just walks out.
He's like, I brought the jacket. Bye.
But Glenn doesn't even care. Like Holly says something like, oh, he met me or something like that. But Glenn's like, look at my CD player, because Glenn's just all about showing off his money and what he can afford and the newest, latest, greatest.
But Glenn is so self-centered, and material things lead his decisions. So he just doesn't even look at Robbie as competition in any
Yeah.
way.
And
Like-
he knows that Robbie likes Julia because he admits it like
Yeah.
a little bit later. So it's not like
Yeah.
he's oblivious to that. He's just like, nah, it'll never happen.
Right. Yeah. Common trope. Either in rom-coms when there's like another boyfriend, either he is absolutely a douchebag or
Mhm.
he's super sweet but just like isn't the right fit. Like almost
Mhm.
like you could run over him pretty much.
Mhm.
He's a doormat. So
Yeah.
there's never really a lot of in-betweens. There's a few, but not a lot.
Yeah. So, but Holly feels something when she watches Julia and Robbie kiss, and she wants more of what she was feeling. So she's like, I think I'm going to go out with Robbie. Not like she has just decided. There's no, I'm going to ask Robbie out. None of that. She's just like, I'm going to go out with Robbie.
She might as well have said, we're gonna bone. And
Yeah.
again, that third option would have made this decision make sense again. If
Mhm.
she had kissed Robbie first
Yeah.
and then Julia
totally.
came in afterwards, then it would have made sense. But
Yeah.
again, not too bright. And shouldn't
now-
she know her cousin well enough to be able to say, like, I've been watching you with him. I see
Yes.
you.
So the character of Holly is a lot like how Adam Sandler female characters are typically written.
True.
Just very 2D,
Mhm.
no substance to them. You know, either they're super uptight and no fun, or they're completely promiscuous.
Yeah. So all the all the work went into Julia's character,
Yes.
and that was it.
Yeah.
At least it went somewhere here.
Yeah, it's true.
It's more than what we were getting before.
Yeah, so sad. Yeah.
So we see them on a double date. Julia is like taking shots.
They're at the
Sorry.
club. Gotta love the
They
club.
are at the club. There's lots of breakdancing, like cut scenes.
The way that they did this movie about the 80s is how we look at that 90s show when they're
Yeah.
trying to do the 90s. That's how it hits now. Like that, I didn't understand it in the time that this movie came out, how cringe it probably was to people who were actually in the 80s. But now I get it.
Because they just take like the best parts or what the most nostalgic parts, and they shove them all in one
Right.
vehicle, and it's like that's not
That's
how
not how
it
this
was.
works.
Yeah.
Have you seen that 90s show yet?
No, I have not. Is it worth it?
It was
We
like
laughed out loud a
yeah.
lot.
Okay.
Like the acting is not great. I mean, Kitty and Red, you could just
On
have a
point.
show with them and it would be fantastic. The kids are just like it feels very sitcom-y formulaic, but like there were a lot of times we laughed out loud.
I actually was
Cool.
bothered by the laugh track in this one. Like I kind of feel like they could have taken it out. And I
Mhm.
think if the kids have a little bit more time with each other, I think a second season I think they would gel a little bit better.
Yeah.
So it's
And
not
settle
the
into their
worst.
characters more.
Yeah. It's not the worst, but I also question if the writers really have like a roadmap of where they're going.
Mhm.
Because if they do, then it's gonna build up to something that will be great.
Mhm.
If not, it could be a train wreck if they continue.
I'll check it out.
So we see and Robbie sees actually Glenn is checking out the waitress's ass as the waitress walks by. He says something about like grade A piece of meat while Julia is puking in the bathroom with Holly. And like Glenn's not even concerned. He's like, oh, she just has to yak and she'll feel better or like whatever. He is all about himself and he's just very narcissistic and egocentric. and Robbie sees everything Glenn is doing and like that he's just not a good dude. And then he finds out that Glenn's last name is Gulia. And so and he's like, so she's gonna be Julia Gulia. Like and Glenn's like, yeah, what's the problem? I'm like, we all know what the
Say
problem is.
it.
Even Glenn Gulia is weird.
Yeah. And so then Robbie's trying to, I think, reassure himself mentally that Julia is in a good situation. So he's like, "Oh, are you excited about the wedding?" And Glenn's response is just, she's paid her dues. She's been with me for 4 years, and she was with me before I made my money, so I know she's not just in it for money. But then they get into this conversation about how Glenn has gotten hotter chicks than the waitress, and he boned someone last week, and Julia will never know. Oh, and then Robbie says something about, well, after the wedding, like that'll stop, right? And Glenn's just like, no, I work in the city. I work long hours. Like she'll never know. So just garbage.
But like, would you tell Julia right away, or
Hell
would
yeah.
you keep it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a hard situation because obviously he has feelings for her. So you do have to be careful because you don't know what place that person is in mentally. You know, as much as Julia has taken from Glenn at this point, I question if she didn't really admit to her
No.
feelings
Yeah.
or know Robbie's feelings, if she would have finally been brave enough to leave Glenn. I'm sure
Yeah.
she knows. We have women in intuition. I was going to say institution. We have women intuition. Jasmine, do you know the next part? Do you want to outline some of it next? This is when
They take her out of the club.
yeah.
Oh, but is he holding Holly, or is he
Well,
holding
Holly's with them, and then he's holding Julia to get in the DeLorean.
Yeah. So sorry, I'm not good at outlining.
Oh no,
This
it's
is being
okay.
cut, right?
I
Yeah, and then we see Julia and Holly come back, I believe, from the bathroom, and obviously Julia is not in a good state. I know, sure, some of us have been there before.
Yep.
They head out, and I feel like Julia's hanging on to Robbie at this point until good old Glenn can get his fancy car, and Robbie can get her in there. Obviously, you see that like longing stare too, like why am I putting Julia in this car with Glenn? You know, after everything that he just uncovered about Glenn, but then the door shuts, and then I think then immediately like pans over to Holly and Robbie,
Mhm.
talking in front of the house, right? And Holly being herself, just pulls her move on Robbie, and I forgot what he said, but he just like, nah.
yeah,
He
I
shot
think
her shot though.
I think he asked like because she says that Julia's gonna stay at Glenn's. I think this is when he's like, well, how
Yeah,
often does she go over there? Yeah.
Yeah, which seems like I don't know, I guess for like the 80s, but like I feel like if they're in like a long-term relationship, 2 years engaged, I feel like having sleepovers is probably more of the norm. So that question, I was just like, well, he probably has been there quite a bit.
I was surprised they weren't living together.
Yeah, that too.
He had way
And
too much
But he
freedom.
needs to, yeah, he
Yeah.
needs to sneak around, so he needed that much space.
And then Robbie asks Holly about Glenn, and she's like, well, yeah, like essentially Glenn can provide for her and take care of her and give her stability. And so like it in Holly's perspective, it's all drilled down to Glenn makes a lot of money and
Yeah.
and Julia will be taken care of.
And this is when it clicks for Holly as well that he is not interested in her, and then he's actually interested in Julia. So the next scene we see Julia in the morning waking up from her hangover.
And so so we see Julia waking up from or she's downstairs. Holly is making her breakfast, and they're talking about they're just talking, and then Holly brings up that Robbie doesn't think much of Glenn, which I don't think he really said that. He may have alluded to it, but
I
he
think
didn't.
she just picked up on it, like the
Yeah.
fact that he's
And the
questioning
questions.
him.
Yeah.
And she tells him that Robbie asked, like, why is Julia marrying Glenn? And Holly tells her that she responded because of money and security. And Julie responds, that's not why I'm marrying him. And Holly's like, well, then why are you marrying him? And so then that gets Julia thinking, like, why am I marrying this douchebag?
Yeah, the fact that she doesn't even know is like a big red flag.
Yeah. So she goes to talk to Robbie, who is supposed to be giving Rosie lessons. She shows up, and Rosie's like, no, he quit. He's going to the city to try and get a real job. And then we see Robbie at a bank trying to get a job, and he's like, I like money. I have some. I'd like more.
It can't even be taken seriously as a real job interview.
Yeah.
At all.
No. Especially the ending. And he's like, you don't even have to give me the real job. Just give me a business card. I'm trying to impress a girl.
Yeah, exactly.
I do not remember, like, out of all the scenes, that scene I did not remember seeing before when I first saw this movie.
And then he runs into Julia, and they get into an argument because she's like, why are you going to get a job? Like, Rosie needs you. You're a wedding singer. Like, do what like you're passionate about, because she has seen him perform at weddings and how good he is at it. And she tells him to not be a yuppie idiot, and that he's above all that material bullshit. And then he calls her on marrying Glenn because he has money. And so then that pisses her off, because obviously that's not the reason. She doesn't know what the reason is, but that's not the reason. And she throws paper at him because she's like, she tells Rosie, I have a gift for him. So she throws her gift at him, and it's all sheet music with his name, like in calligraphy on the top. Like, she had made this gift for him so he could get back into songwriting based on their conversation earlier. So now he feels bad. He goes and talks with his best friend at a bar, and You're My Boy Blue is another patron that just seems to always be at the bar.
When we were watching this, I was like, oh my God, is that our boy Blue from Old School? And Jackie's husband was like, yes, that is.
And Robbie finally admits he thinks he's in love with her. But he's like, and I need to get that out of my head. She's marrying Glenn. Like, I just need to forget about that. And he's like, I want to be more like you, to his best friend. And his best friend's like, I'm not happy. Like, I wanted to be the Fonz, but I realized, like, no one wants to be the Fonz when they're 50. Like, I'd like to settle down and find someone.
Yeah, he said no. The reason that their shows got canceled was because no one wants to watch a bunch of 50-year-olds hit on women. And it's very true. You need to go sit your ass down somewhere and stop playing.
Yes. And then we get a scene with Julia talking to her mom. She's very upset. She asks her mom if she likes Glenn, and her mom has the same kind of response, like, well, he'll take care of you. And Julia's like, I don't know if he's right for me. And then her mom's like, are you thinking of leaving Glenn for the wedding singer?
But I think if you think about it in that time frame of the 80s, it wasn't such an unreasonable thing for the focus of marrying somebody to be more heavily on the security aspect, because
Right.
you know, it wasn't much, previously before, when women could actually have a credit card or have the
Mhm.
ability to like take care of themselves.
Have
So
a
there,
mortgage in their name.
right,
Yeah.
there's a lot of reliance on needing that partner. So yes, he may have been a douchebag, but financially he was good, and that's all her mother really probably pushed for. So
Yeah.
That's so sad.
it
So
is.
later that night, Julia's up in her room. She's in her wedding dress and she's practicing introducing herself as Julia Gulia. And she just starts crying because it's ridiculous. And Glenn's an asshole. So she starts practicing her name as
Rob.
Robbie's last name. I don't
Robbie
even
Hart.
know. Yes. And then it lifts her spirits and makes her happy. And so Robbie is walking to her house to apologize and confess that he is in love with her, but then he sees her really happy up in her room and thinks it's because she's thinking about marrying Glenn the next day. And so he just leaves. Or I guess it's a few days before, because then we see Glenn in the bar
Mhm.
For his bachelor party, and he has women hanging all over him, and he's just being a chauvinist pig.
Well, it's supposed to be the Friday before their wedding, so I'm guessing their wedding might be
Sunday.
Sunday, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then the next day they
Go to
leave, and he's
Vegas.
like, "It's not supposed to be until the next day."
Yeah. And Robbie calls him on it. Robbie's had enough. He's like, stop all this cheating, man. Like, she's a good woman. Like, what the hell are you doing? And Glenn says, I'm a real man, not some singing orphan, which is just a gut punch, knowing that Robbie lost his parents when he was still a child. Like, it was just.
Why are bullies so good at comebacks? That sting.
And then Robbie is momentarily distracted, and that's when Glenn sucker punches him.
Well, that's because our boy Blue
Yeah, it's
fucked
like
it up. He like took a swing and it was like not doing anything. And because that's what Robbie was distracted by. And then that's when Glenn punched him out. But there's not much of a fight. He just punches him and then leaves. So
Yeah.
He's
And
got ladies to go to.
yes.
Ugh, so gross. So Robbie kind of stumbles home. I'm pretty sure he was concussed. And so he has like a bloody nose. He shows up and Linda is at his house, or his sister's house. And he just wants to go to the basement and pass out. And she's like, I've made a mistake. I want you to take me back. And she misses him, and then Robbie just passes out on the lawn. And so the next morning, Julia shows up to apologize to Robbie because she's now realizing like
She's in love with him. She was
she's
gonna
in love.
tell him that she's in love with
Yes.
him.
And then Linda answers in her underwear and Robbie's Van Halen shirt, which he gets onto her about. I'm trying to find the
Because I think
Oh,
it's at the bottom.
he says, "Get out of my Van Halen t-shirt before you jinx the band and they break up." David Lee Roth left Van Halen in 1985, which is the year that the movie is set in. So, it was all Linda's fault that Van Halen broke up.
Oh, Linda.
And so Julia just assumes, and Linda doesn't let on that like nothing happened. She's just like, oh, he's in the shower. He was indisposed. And so Julia's like, okay, I guess like he made his choice. And so she goes to Glenn and asks him, can we still just elope in Vegas? So they head to the airport. Robbie wakes up, sees Linda there, and he's like, "What the hell are you doing in my room? Why are you here? I don't want you. We're never getting back to get together." And then later that day, it's Rosie's 50th anniversary. And so she's performing and everyone's having a great time. And then Robbie is just like, I can't do this. I have to go find Julia. His best friend's like, okay, I'll go get the car. Like, I know you need to go get her. He goes to apologize to Rosie that he needs to leave. She's like, you
I
go
know
get
you
her.
One of their supporters.
And then Holly, he runs into Holly.
Well, she
and
comes to find him to say, like,
yes,
to
You're
tell
back with
him.
Linda.
Right. Yeah. Because he doesn't know that Linda saw Julia. So she tells him that they're at the airport. So they all go to the airport to try to catch her. But he's thinking not that he can catch her at the airport. He's thinking he can catch her in Vegas, even though they have no idea. He has no idea.
Which chapel, where. Yeah.
Yeah.
And on the way, he asks for a pen because he has an idea for a song. So while they're driving, he's writing a song. He gets on the only ticket left to Vegas is first class. So he makes his best friend pay for it. And like his friend's like, "You're going to pay me back, right? It's on my credit card." He's like,
No.
And so he gets on, he ends up telling the entire first class cabin this whole story. They're so engaged. Billy Idol happens to be a passenger. And so they're all like, yeah, you need to go get her. Let's do this. And then one of the stewardesses, who Danielle pointed out as we were watching it, is Shanna Mokler, Travis Barker's ex-wife.
Ooh.
She comes in and is like, oh, this jerk in Coach approached me about joining the Mile High Club and called me a grade A piece of meat. And Robbie's like, wait a minute.
Like,
I've heard that before.
What'd you say,
Also,
Jasmine? Okay.
I was like, it like clicked for him. But also,
Yes.
are we shocked that Glenn and Julia are not in first class?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was weird. Because when the scene was coming up, I was like, I feel like he's in Coach and they're back there. But yeah, that was weird that they weren't in first class. Again,
Yeah.
doing
If Glenn
things
was
that
by
are,
himself, he would have been in first class. And early on in the movie, Robbie mentioned how him and Linda were flying to go to the Grand Canyon. She had been before, he had never been, and he asked to have the window seat so he could see the Grand Canyon, and she refused. So Julia's sitting next to Glenn. She's in the middle seat. He's next to the window. And she asks him, like, can we switch seats so I can see like us flying over the Vegas Strip? He's like, well, I'll just let you lean over me when it's time.
How rude.
So rude. So Billy Idol.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Danielle.
Oh, well, they make a plan that he is going to get Julia back. At this point, Glenn is passed out, and Billy Idol then gets over the intercom and says that there's a member of the first class passengers who has a song about how he feels about one of the members in Coach that was inspired by one of the members in Coach. And so Robbie starts to sing the song. Of course, Julia automatically knows it's his voice, and she is like so happy and crying. And Jackie, she mentioned while we were watching that Drew Barrymore asked to not hear any of the songs before they started to do the movie. She wanted to hear the songs in real time. And so her crying in the scene and just being
It's,
so
like,
emotional.
authentic.
Yes. Which is
But
really
do we
sweet.
think how many takes do we think it took? Do you think this is like the first reaction?
I kind of feel like it felt so real
Yeah.
that it might have been the first
I would hope
take.
that it is.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And so Robbie is revealed. He comes out playing the guitar. Glenn then wakes up and realizes that he's trying to steal his girl. So he gets up and tries to go after him, but one of the flight attendants stops him with the car. So he goes across the other side, and then Billy Idol's about to get it on, but his fans just happen to be sitting there, and they push Glenn all the way back, and they push him into the bathroom. So then we get a nice, beautiful kiss from Julia and Robbie, and then we see them at their wedding.
But like,
Yeah.
what happened to Glenn?
Right.
Did he stay there the whole time? I
Glenn
have so many questions.
Glenn
He
went on a
lives in the bathroom now.
Glenn landed in Vegas, went on a cocaine spree, got pulled over for prostitution, and lost his good job, and now lives in Encino with his grandma.
I love that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, so we see Julia and Robbie's wedding. Steve Buscemi's character is the wedding singer at their wedding. And then, of course, we end on a freeze frame.
Gotta
And
bring
that
those
is
back.
right. And that is the wedding singer.
Yay.
Yay.
Oh man. So from a rom-com perspective, how do you feel like, well, are there like a ton of tropes in this movie that you feel like it fits? I never really thought of this as a traditional rom-com at first, because
why is that?
I don't know. I just always look at Adam Sandler movies as a whole, kind of like separate. So I was like, oh, it is a rom-com. I don't know what I don't know what
his
I was
first rom-com. There's and the first of 3 with Drew. But this is not my favorite with Drew. I feel like it's
50 First Dates. Yeah.
100%.
I would say 50 First Dates, then Wedding Singer, and then Blended would be last.
Yeah.
I think when Jackie and I did our first Adam Sandler movie, we ranked them, and I think I
find that.
I think I had Wedding Singer higher, but now that I've rewatched it, I think I like 50 First Dates better.
Yeah, I think so too.
Again, because they conned me with the 80s music.
Yeah, so you've been tricked.
Yeah.
Yes. So Drew Barrymore approached Adam Sandler about working together on a film, saying they were cinematic soulmates before they even worked together. Not wrong.
Like, had they met before? Like,
I don't know
basis for this?
I don't know if they met, but and I think she was hesitant to tell him that at first. Like, it took her, like, she was a little nervous that he would think she was kind of crazy for saying that to him. But I feel like maybe they met before they, seen each other before.
Do you think Adam Sandler is the best counterpart for a Drew Barrymore rom-com, or how does it rank against like Hugh Grant, Jimmy Fallon, etc.?
I think she did really well with Jimmy Fallon, but I just, there's just something, and I think it's because of their friendship outside of this, that they just naturally seem really calm and sweet with each other. He seems very sweet with her. I don't know. What do you think, Jackie?
Yeah, I do really enjoy her and Jimmy Fallon. I think it's a tie between Adam Sandler and Jimmy Fallon for Drew.
What about you? What do you think?
I would say the same thing. I feel like slightly biased because of Fever Pitch, but I love the Drew and Adam combo. But Hugh Grant is probably definitely below.
Yeah, Hugh Grant and Drew, like, music and lyrics is not my favorite out of them. I do love Pop Goes
I
My
was like, it is a bop, but I don't
Yeah.
I don't necessarily see the chemistry between them.
Yeah,
But I think it's a fun movie.
Yes, 100%. I've seen him have better chemistry with other people, so I just, like, it's not a contender. Yeah. I'm trying to think of who else she's been in movies with. I think she had really great chemistry with Michael Vartan in Never Been Kissed, even though that movie is cringe now that I rewatch it. Yeah.
When is like the last movie she was in? I feel like it's been
She did
so
that
long.
movie where there was like a double of hers, like she had a body double or something. It was weird. I didn't watch it. And
I
then
don't even
Santa
remember.
Clara Diet was probably the last thing she's been in, which was a TV show.
And now she has her TV show.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see.
So I ranked Wedding Singer number 9 out of 13 for Adam Sandler movies in our time period. And then, sorry, I'm having to scrub through the video.
Oh,
And
it's
then
okay.
Danielle had it as number 1.
Yeah. I'm telling you, that was
You were really
that
under
was
this, like, yeah.
Y2K Danielle was about this movie. 100%. But now rewatching it, I'm like, it's still, again, I'm less mad than I was when I saw we did have Billy Madison.
Mhm.
But still like, eh. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes I feel that way with like You've Got Mail. I love it, but then I think about the actual plot and the characters. I'm just like, really?
Yeah. Then there's some movies that I just don't give a damn. We did Bridget
Yeah.
Jones's Diary, and I might have had some very strong opinions about. I don't give a
For
shit.
all of them.
Yeah.
The trilogy lives in my heart. Okay. Another soundtrack that got me by a chokehold is that third movie. What other fun facts? So I'm confused by this. So online it says that Natalie Portman, Jennifer Lopez, Jennifer Aniston, Jennifer Garner, Molly Ringwald, Julia Roberts, Diane Lane, Christina Ricci, Christina Moore, Justine Bateman, Christina Applegate, Cameron Diaz, Elizabeth Hurley, Sarah Jessica Parker, Lori Loughlin, Heather Graham, Brooke Shields, Katie Holmes, Nicole Kidman, Jennifer Love Hewitt, Jennifer Beals, Lauren Graham, and Pamela Anderson were all considered for the role of Julia. But from some of the other things that I read, when Drew said that she thought that they should be in a movie together, I thought that they kind of wrote this movie kind of with her in mind. But I'm wondering if maybe that just like when they aligned, this was just the movie that was already in the process, and they gave her the script, because that is a long list of people to be considered.
And
Yeah.
like, what is the definition of considered?
Right.
Like, just name was thrown out, or like they were brought in. Like,
There was a blackboard with everybody's name on it.
who's not on that list?
I think that's the better question. Also the future Queens of the Stone Age musician Michael Sherman was he was the bar mitzvah boy in one of the scenes.
Oh, interesting.
Um,
Julia carried a bouquet of daisies in her wedding to Robbie. Drew Barrymore's favorite flowers in real life are daisies.
which makes sense because her production company is called Flower Productions. So
And her beauty company.
right. And her like whole look of her show is yellow. So
Yes.
okay, Drew, when you like something, you like something.
She has an aesthetic.
She does. Hurley, the writer, was aware that Sandler's previous films had lacked a female perspective, like we talked about, and emphasized the importance of Barrymore. He explained that she was so great in her scenes that test audiences did not complain about Sandler not being in every scene as they had done for his previous films. And as a result, more of her scenes survived and were included in the final film.
You want to know what was not included?
Right, true. Also because it's Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, you get some power just with that name.
Right. Like if you think about his other movies, I don't think he had another like a female lead that was on par. No offense to the women in his other movies, but they were no Drew Barrymore, like from a name perspective and just recognition. So all right, well, before we get into our ratings, Jasmine, thank you for joining us. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you on social?
Yeah, you can find me on TikTok at justmejazz or Instagram at justmejazz_.
And if you guys have any feedback for this episode, questions, just want to give us a shout out, don't forget to hit us up at No More Late Fees on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. And Jasmine, I'm going to start with you. What is your present day rating for this movie?
I think it would stay the same at the 5-day rental. Like I would watch it again.
Jackie?
I'm sticking with my 2-day rental.
At least it didn't go to same day.
Yeah.
I am going to stay with mine as well. 5-day rental. As Jackie said, I don't know why, but a girl was laughing out loud.
Honestly, that's all I need sometimes.
Yeah. I love the 80s. I love the songs. And I just very much loved how organic and natural it felt for these two characters. It didn't feel forced, and naturally you started to fall in love with them as they fell in love with each other. And I really liked that. And the side characters were fun. It was a fun movie. Also, I really enjoy the colors of the movie, like those bright pinks and purples, and even behind Jackie, the blues. Like we don't see these colors anymore in movies, and it makes me so sad. It just watching it gives me a boost, you know?
Yeah.
The brightest movie I feel like I watched is like Down with Love.
Yes.
Yes, so bright.
We're doing that this season, and it's going to be interesting to see. I haven't watched it in so long.
I just rewatched it last month.
Oh, really?
So if you have an opinion about The Wedding Singer, you want to tell me why I'm wrong for not enjoying this movie, hit us up at our quick drop 909-601-NMLF 909-601-6653. You can twat us at the Twitters or leave a voicemail on our Anchor FM account, and you can be featured on a future episode.
And join us next week as we cover our favorite Freddie Prinze Jr. movie, Head Over Heels.
And as always, be kind and rewind.